The Community Water and Sanitation Agency was established by an Act of Parliament, Act 564, in December 1998, with a mandate to facilitate the provision of safe drinking water and related sanitation services to rural communities and small towns in Ghana. The key management model adopted by the agency was the community ownership and management.
The community management model was the approach that was adopted by the rural water sector when Cwsa was established in 1998. The model is such that the Cwsa does the facilitation and coordination of investment from central government and development partners. And when the funding is secured, we go down to the RCC, the district assemblies, and then to the community level. And then with the support of the private sector, we are able to construct water facilities for communities. In the process of constructing the water facility, we form water and sanitation management teams and train them in how to manage the water systems. And so after construction, the water systems are handed over to the communities to manage on their own. And this system has been going on for over 20 years now. A number of challenges have bedeviled the community management approach. We look at the trends of water coverage over the past 12 years. We've realized that we were able to peak in 2015 at 65.05% coverage. This coverage has started dipping, and in 2016 it dipped to 62.03%. In 2017 it went to 62.13%, and then 2018 it dipped further to 62.06%. And this phenomenon is as a result of three major factors. The first factor is population increase, and then the second one is the decline in funding from both central government and from our development partners. But the most critical and the third factor is the continuous breakdown of most of the water infrastructure that has been provided to community members over the years.
We have noted over the years that issues of water quality has become so much problematic. Communities are unable to sample and take them for analysis. Even if they are analyzed, interpretation of the results is quite problematic. So most communities will not even venture analyzing their water supply. We have also noted that water losses has increased up to a margin of about 45%, and quite a number of the facilities are not optimally used, and some of them are also broken down.
Another challenge we've noticed with regards to community management, especially for 5 schemes, is that community members do not have the requisite capacity to be able to manage the infrastructure that we've provided at the community level. We thought that the private sector could come to our rescue. And so at a point in time, for the systems which we consider to be very big and complex, we engage the services of the private sector to support the communities in managing. Unfortunately, evidence on the ground shows that the private sector did not also do a good job. And we have examples in Namako, Cwsa, in the Volta region, now T region. We have the 3 districts system in Greater Accra and the Volta region, Asimfosu, and so on and so forth. So this is the cycle of continuous building of new systems or rehabilitation of existing systems, community management, a breakdown, and we have to go for resources to be able to fix them.
Without improved asset maintenance and financial planning, it is likely that premature breakdowns will keep happening and the cycle of unsustainable rural water services will continue. It has therefore become eminent for the Cwsa to re-strategize to meet the challenging needs of the environment it finds itself in.
As a sector which is research based, we've done a lot of research. So we've come to the conclusion that the community management approach is not the best approach under the circumstances for sustainable management of water infrastructure.
Because Community Water and Sanitation Agency is the one responsible for development of strategies, we have decided again to relook at this strategy.
In March 2017, a new chief executive was appointed for the agency. The CWSA embarked on a consultation visit to the regional offices to ascertain the problems faced in the agency executing its mandate. The agency also met with political heads of the regions to brief them and seek their support for the agency's reform agenda. The agency then met with former chief executives and directors to discuss the way forward for the agency.
The facilitate does not mean, it didn't mean that you just go and put your projects and dribble and leave and so forth. No, you have to follow up and manage the system.
These and other stakeholder consultations further informed the agency's decision to reform. The proposals from key stakeholders from the subsector for the reform were coalesced at the review conference of CWSA held in Cwsa, Ashanti region in May 2017. The principal thrust of the decision reached at the review conference was for CWSA to expand her mandate to include the management of piped water systems whilst maintaining her role as a facilitator in the provision and management of point sources. Following the decision reached at the conference, CWSA embarked on a recruitment exercise to acquire the services of water management professionals to manage the water systems. The recruitment process involved an aptitude test, an interview, an orientation, and a field visit for some regions.
We have started a transformation in the Community Water and Sanitation Agency, which focuses largely on making sure that water supply services that we provide to community are sustained. We also want to find out professionally how we can generate resources to be able to continue providing water supply services to communities, especially rural communities and small towns.
The various regions engaged the district assemblies and communities where the water systems are to solicit for their support and buy-in in the CWSA reform agenda.
We have to do a lot of stakeholder engagements whereby we target our MMBCs, the Honorable Assembly members, chiefs, queen mothers, opinion leaders, more or less getting to community members to let them appreciate. But the fact still remains that we needed our own MMBs, because we are all public sector agencies, to appreciate what we are talking about first, so that when we are both working to other stakeholders, then we are the two standing on the public sector side. So it's a win-win situation for us.
Within the sector right now, we have 1,022 water supply systems in small towns communities. We also have over 30,000 boreholes fitted with hand pumps. Substantially, there are many challenges that we have to deal with. Issues concerning water quality, non-payment of electricity charges by communities, the breakdown of water facilities, high non-revenue water. All of these have made management of water system in rural communities very complicated.
The vision of the agency under the reform is to be the leading public sector water service delivery organization in Africa, and its mission is to be committed to the efficient delivery of safe, reliable, affordable and sustainable water-related sanitation and hygiene promotion services to all rural communities and small towns in Ghana. The ultimate objective of the reform is to transform CWSA into a utility service organization by professionalizing the operations and management of piped water systems, improving on the operational efficiency of small town piped water systems, mobilizing revenue from water system management for maintenance, expansion and construction of new facilities, increasing access on premise towards meeting Sustainable Development Goal 6, creating jobs for water management professionals, applying appropriate technology to reduce energy consumption and non-revenue water, adopting state-of-the-art technology to address water quality challenges, creating a support mechanism for sustained operations and maintenance of point water systems, and improving access to sanitation and hygiene services to maximize health benefits. The reform is also guided by international perspective, such as Sustainable Development Goal 6, which advocates for universal coverage of water services to all rural communities and small towns. The agency did a lot of stakeholder engagements to solicit for their support and buy-in for the reforms. From 19th February to 20th March 2019, the agency held regional stakeholders engagements on the reforms in 7 regions, namely Rung Ahafo, Central, Northern, Upper East, Upper West, Volta and Western regions. Participants were traditional leaders, members of parliament, regional and deputy regional ministers, municipal and district chief executives, municipal and district coordinating directors, assembly members, district assembly staff, academia, media persons, and water and sanitation management teams. The objectives of the engagements were to inform and educate stakeholders on the CWSA reform. The engagements were to also enable stakeholders and partners involved in the delivery of rural water services to provide inputs into the implementation of the reform program. Generally, the engagements ended with participants building consensus that the water systems should be managed by professionals to ensure their sustainability.
At Wenchi, we nearly collapsed, the system nearly collapsed. And to be honest to us, when CWSA came in, now we are seeing improvement in water flow in the system. Financially, we are seeing improvement. I can remember the old board, when they were in existence, they told us they were owing electricity bills up to 200,000 Ghana cedis. And from that time up to now, more than 8 solid years, they were not able to pay that 200,000. When CWSA came in, now, today, everybody can testify that there is improvement and things are working.
This particular reforms is very, very good. The first time we were there and they came to us in the community, they went around to the community for consultations. We accepted it. The challenges, some of the challenges which were there, we quickly rise to them and mention them. Within a short time, they came and then were able to rectify that solutions. In fact, to my interest, the reform is very, very good.
We also did a number of external engagements with UNICEF. We've met some ministries, Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, our own ministry, Sanitation and Water Resources, Local Government Service Secretariat, the coalition of NGOs in water and sanitation. We also met with the Parliamentary Select Committee on Works and Housing. And in all these meetings, there was convergence of thought. They agreed with us that we're on the right path.
We have signed performance contracts with all the regions, and the regions have also signed performance contracts with the water system management staff. And substantially in these contracts, we try to solve the problems that we have identified. We have also agreed with our minister and our ministry that yes, this transformation must be implemented.
The Minister for Sanitation and Water Resources, Honorable Cecilia Abinadapa, together with her 2 deputies, Honorable Michael Tedo and Honorable Patrick Boama, paid a working visit to the Community Water and Sanitation Agency CWSA head office. Present at the meeting at the CWSA head office were the chairman of the board of directors, Mr. Pakwesi Yankee, the chief executive, Engineer Walanyo Kwejosiabi, regional directors, management and staff of the CWSA head office and the Greater Accra region. The purpose of the visit was to familiarize herself with the activities of the agency and the reforms the agency is currently undertaking.
We want to transform CWSA into a utility service organization with complete responsibility to directly manage these small town systems and then also deal with the point sources on a very sustainable basis.
The minister, on her response to the presentation, applauded the agency for the initiative taken.
Your new policy is the way to go. District assemblies, they act, they are part. Please be more independent. Let them have a role that will be a collaborative role. Nobody should do a system go and hand it over to them. They are too loaded with work. I'm telling you, that's the reality. Why should you think government will be worried if the assemblies are not in charge. No. You are dealing with professionals, and you should carry the professionalism through. They can be partners, meaning they are aware you are going to do the system, they are there. But the operations, please. Otherwise, we'll be back to square.
The review conference of the CWSA held in the early part of September 2019. A number of stakeholders were invited to share their opinions on the reforms and also to learn at first hand what the reform is about. These include the chairman of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Works and Housing, the representatives from our ministry, the Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources, the Office of the Head of Local Government Service Secretariat, School of Engineering, Farm Improvement University of Science and Technology, the Coalition of NGOs in the water and sanitation sector, and UNICEF. The reform program is still in transition. The reform does not seek to exclude community members from the management of the water access, nor does it seek to exclude private sector operators from supporting the management of the water systems. If you take the new management structure within the context of the reform, we are still keeping the vendors who are all community people. The auxiliary staff, like plumbers, are all community members. Even for the professional staff, if there are people in the communities who meet the requirements for becoming a professional staff, we give them the opportunity to go through the selection process. Then we engage them. The private sector will continue to support CWSA to provide new water infrastructure. Even within the context of the reform, all the rehabilitation works that are currently going on are being done by the private sector.
Whilst the system was in the hands of the WSMC, you wouldn't find any underground studies being done to ascertain the yield or otherwise of the borehole. But currently, with CWSA participating in the management of the small town pipe system, DRAPA is currently benefiting from having an assessment and an investigation conducted on all the boreholes to ensure that the yield is very adequate to supply water to the growing community of DRAPA, so that people will benefit from water in sufficient and adequate quantities.
So the situation as pertained before our invitation by CWSA was that this particular pump, which is one of the main backbone as far as water supply to Cwsa is concerned, was not functioning. So when we came, we inspected the system, and then we found out that the main switch, which was supplying power to the control panel, was having sparks, and so it was able to cause damage to the old panel. And we recommended that the panel was beyond repairs. So now what we have done is that we have brought a new panel, and we have just fixed the pump and getting water out.
We are installing the solar system for the Vapo community water pumping station. And what automatic reset system does is that we want to harness the full potential of the sun and also minimize costs with the electricity. So what we do is that this one has to trap the sun rays, give us maximum energy from the sun, which will be converted by the solar drive into an AC system that will power the pump to supply water to the town. And this is a dual system. It can work on both the solar and also work on the grid.
The CWSA has made modest achievements under its reform. These include the following. The CWSA is currently managing 125 piped water systems across the 16 regions. 73 boreholes in 20 piped systems have been cleaned, redeveloped, pump tested, and water quality reassessed. Contracts for cleaning, redevelopment, pump testing and water quality reassessment of 132 boreholes in 51 piped water systems has been signed and work ongoing. 12 pump houses for 6 piped water systems have been reconstructed. 44 pump houses for 9 piped systems have been rehabilitated. Procurement for rehabilitation works on 13 pump houses for 60 piped water systems region is ongoing. 10 piped water systems are currently undergoing rehabilitation. 404 bulk meters have been installed to improve recording of production and distribution and estimation of non-revenue water. 5,570 manual service meters have been installed to improve measurement of water consumption and revenue. 2,530 prepaid household water meters are currently being deployed to 23 piped water systems in 6 regions. 35 packaged water treatment plants are being procured for 26 piped water systems in 7 regions. Procurement of HDPE and UPVC pipes for rehabilitation of pipelines for piped water systems is ongoing.
Cwsa came in to rehabilitate the MIM system. When we came in, there were 6 boreholes. All of them had their pump houses. This pump house was quite dilapidated with the roof all gone. So the first thing we decided to do is to establish a sustainable source, whether the sources are enough to sustain the system. And so we rehabilitated 6 of these boreholes, and this is one of them. So far, we have 5 pumps installed on these rehabilitated boreholes. 4 of them are our submersible pumps, and one of them is a solar pump. So the investment that has gone in here so far is about 510,000, and we are now expecting that we'll complete the high-level tank, 3 kilometers of transmission lines to lay, 22.5 kilometers distribution lines to lay before the system can come into operation.
Most of the systems that we took over are old systems and did not have their own Cwsa custom offices like the new system we used to have. So you have been able to rent offices for all of them, creating a conducive atmosphere for the staff to work. We have also signed contract for phase 1 of the borehole redevelopment. And the first phase, Ashanti Region Cwsa benefited from 10 of that contract. So 10 of our boreholes have been redeveloped. There is a phase 2 that is also in the pipeline. And that one, about 24 of our boreholes are now going to be redeveloped. We have also made some extensions in some of the communities like Adujama, Mason Kwanta, and Abodom water systems. And these connections were done from the little operational funds that were given to them. We inherited a debt of about 132,913, of which we have settled everything.
VACPO was handed over for operations in the year 2003 under GTZ Government of Ghana funding. From 2003 to 2015, the system was operating well, but they had a gamut of problems, and everything came to a halt in the year 2015, and the system was abandoned. We came in to manage the system in 2018, and in 2018 nothing was happening. So Cwsa decided to carry out major rehabilitation of the VACPO water system. Cwsa provided funding for the rehabilitation of 2 pump houses that were not functioning at all. So we rehabilitated and installed submersible pumps. We also drilled a 3rd borehole, and as we speak now, we are implementing the installation of a pump that is going to be powered either by the national grid or solar. As at the time that the VACPO system stopped operations, they had 23 public standpipes and a number of household connections, and nothing was functioning. But as we speak today, we have been able to rehabilitate the system to such an extent that 9 out of the 23 public standpipes are now providing water to the people. Since last year to date, Cwsa has spent close to 2 million Ghana cedis in the rehabilitation of these broken down systems. For us in CWSA, in Volta region and OT region, we have done a lot. We are working very hard to ensure that the people in the communities get access to safe and reliable water.
One may ask if the CWSA reform started 2 years ago has made any impact on the beneficiary communities. Recent visits to the regions have shown that the impact is beginning to be evident. The agency has empowered young professionals through its national recruitment program. Currently, CWSA has employed 834 professionals to manage the water systems. These are being assisted by 269 auxiliary staff. Revenue from the sale of water has increased in all the water systems without a raise in the tariff. There is also tremendous improvement on the operations and management of the water systems. 2 years into the CWSA reform, more safe and quality water is flowing through several pipelines nationwide on more regular basis than before. Reporting and tracking of performance has also improved significantly. Capacity for technical and financial audit of the water systems have improved due to employment of professionals.
Ijemeledie by house le fikumel. Okay. Ko butira, me ko be asiala nyo be 20 pesos. Okay. Tala me ko be mo le papa. Okay. Me toche la mo ba ye to me la. Me ti sina be me budget.
Me pa cho nsuo no. They starting for no there. Yeah, the time atoso. Enti se we nya ne 7 na we so anya no. E free bear no nsia, e be pem no nso. Sa na ne ye. Na se mo be som, ti mo be so mu ne there. Se no. A flow.
When you come to Cwsa, I remember very well in 2019, we started this discussion with CWSA at the beginning of 2019. One major issue pertains to indebtedness of various institutions and as such leading to liquidity problems. Always they will fall on the assembly, and when we are in a position to help, we help. It came to a point that the demands on us so big, we couldn't help them out. So we got in touch with the CWSA, and I will be able to help us in that direction. Right now, as I speak with you, I can say for the past 2 weeks, we don't see any interruptions in the flow of the water. So I would say CWSA, I do from my heart for them. At least within this short time, they've been able to resolve the Cwsa water problems. And it has also taken a lot of burden off my shoulders. And I encourage other districts to take the boat, hook on to them, and hopefully problems that they encounter in their water systems will be resolved for them.
We have had water crisis since 1972. By 2003, community water came in, and then by 2006, there was a complete installation of their system in the community for us, and it has helped us. But unfortunately, just after they left, the community itself wanted to manage it, but they managed it not very well. And so by 2015, we had a problem with the system again, and it wasn't flowing, no water was flowing. And then, unfortunately for us again, by 2017, community water was also invited back to revamp the system for us. And so they came in, and then by this time, this is the result that we are seeing. Water is now flowing, the crisis is over. That has been a very serious problem in Bafo for over so many years now, over decades, and I believe that it's resolved now. And so the community is very happy. We are appreciative to the community water for coming to our aid to help us with this initiative.
As seen and heard from the documentary, there is evidence that the CWSA reform is already making significant impact on the lives of beneficiary communities. The broad smiles and excitement that our team witnessed at Bapo says it all.
Wash your hands every time there is a need. Oh, keep your mind and body clean. Immediate action is the best prevention. Cleanliness is next to ungodliness. So you better keep your neighborhood